Here we are on day 3, and we're going to show you how to use the injection molder. What you need out is safety glasses, some gloves, a putty knife, a little scoop, the injection mold for the golf tees, and in these tubs here is my plastic that I'll be putting in the injection molder. One of the first things you need to do is you need to make sure your injection molder is turned on. And there's a little switch right here, and it'll turn on and you'll see this light comes on. This whole area will heat up. What we're making today is golf tees, and we're using this injection molder. And what an injection molder does is it has the ability to force small pieces of plastic into a mold. And this is our mold here, and it is what you'll be using today. And you can find in your station a number of different beads. Here I have 2 different colors. I have a red and kind of a clear colored bead. Be careful with your beads. You don't want to spill them on the floor and waste them. Next, let's talk about the injection molder a little bit. You should have a clamp right here that moves forward. This will actually hold the mold in place when we're injecting the plastic. And then this injection molder here, this area warms up to a very high temperature. You don't want to touch that in any way, and if you have any plastic that gets stuck, that's why you want to use the putty knife to move it out of the way. You can shove it to where you want it to be. The injection molder also has a handle that moves up and down that allows you to control where the plastic goes, and you're able to force it into the mold by using the handle. Now we're going to show you how to load up the hopper that will allow us to inject the plastic into the mold. When doing this, now we need to place our gloves over our hands for protection. When you grab the mold, if you notice, there's a small hole in the very top, and this is where the plastic comes through and goes into our mold. You need to place the mold partly underneath, so that way the plastic does not seep through the bottom, and this will serve as a stopping point. You do not want to do is place it all the way over in place, because what will happen if you do that, a small amount of plastic will seep through the top and plug the hole, and as it does that, the plastic in the hole will cool, and it will not allow you to force the hot plastic into the mold. So this needs to be just slightly in the way, so it's plugging the hole so plastic does not fall down. Next, I'm going to show you how to load the plastic, and I'm going to show you with these clear beads. And you just need to use this little scoop and place beads inside there. And you notice they will fall in there, because the area is very hot. They get stuck to the sides right away. So I'm going to take my handle and just lightly push them down a little bit. I don't want to push them down real far. I want a few more plastic pellets. Put them in there. And there, I think I've got enough plastic. I'm going to set this stuff down. Now, before I'm ready to make my golf tee, I need to close this and with using the handle just a little bit. I'm not putting any pressure on it right now, but what it does is it traps all of the heat inside the hopper, and that allows the plastic to get really hot, and that'll allow me to make a better golf tee. I've probably waited long enough now. It doesn't take more than 5 to 10 seconds. Now there's 3 steps that are important here once I slide my mold over. That's the first step, slide it over so it hits this little stop on this side. The second step is I want to take my clamp and lock it in place. The third step is I need to pull the handle down, and I feel a little bit of pressure stop. I have to pull down, and all of a sudden I feel a small stopping point, and that means probably my plastic is in as far as it can be. Then I'm going to pull up on the handle, pull back on my clamp, slide my mold out, and wiggle this apart, and I have a golf tee. I'm going to show you from just a little bit different angle the three-step process again. So again, I take my plastic, and if any pieces fall out, I can take my little scoop, push them in, and again, just slightly push a few in. And then I'm going to close my top a little bit so it traps the heat inside there, and just give it a few seconds to warm up. Slide over my mold so it hits the stopper. Step 1, step 2, clamp, lock the clamp in place. Step 3, take the handle, pull slightly down until I feel it stop. Once I feel it stop, it should mean my golf tee is completely made. Take this out, separate your mold, and you can see your golf tee. Now when you touch the golf tee, beware it is warm. You probably don't want to touch it right away with your bare hands. When pulling down the handle, we're going to address a problem here a lot of students face. When you get ready, step 1, step 2, and you pull down the handle, you're going to pull down until it stops. When it stops at that point, you're done. You cannot continue pulling harder and harder or getting momentum. It's just a one pull thing. So I'm going to pull down and I feel it stop. That means either the plastic is completely filled or I made an incomplete golf tee and it is over at that time. Lift up and unclamp. Address a couple problems here. One, if you have plastic on this cylinder right here that forces the plastic through, we need that off of there. And so this can be solved. So once you've made a golf tee, here I've made a golf tee already, you can solve this by adding plastic and heating this up. By heating this up, we'll push this in, any plastic there, closing it, and I want this cylinder just slightly closed. I don't want to put any pressure on it, just closed. That way heat will be trapped in there and the plastic that's in the injection molder, and this will start to heat up and melt off. Once you've done that, then work on taking your golf tee out for the next golf tee. Then when you come back to this, in the time frame that you used to take the golf tee out, this should have heated up enough to make the next golf tee, and this will come off. This plastic will come off easily. So I'm going to push this over, clamp, pull down, come up, unclamp, leave this golf tee in there for just a moment, push all remaining plastic in the cylinder, cleaning it up. If I need to add plastic, that is okay, but I want to clean that up, and again, slightly close this, trapping all the plastic in there, warming up this cylinder. That way this plastic will melt off. Take this golf tee out, and then this process will go a little faster. Push this in, over. Because I've had this closed, the cylinders should be warmed up, so that way this plastic will come off. Pull down, it stops, it doesn't keep going. I just pull one continuous pull, unclamp, and there, you want to add plastic. For your next golf tee, close this, then take your golf tee out. In that time frame, when you get back and ready for the next golf tee, this plastic will be started the melted process, and this will be melted off. It'll be ready to make the next golf tee. So if you follow those instructions, by having this slightly closed, it'll help the plastic remain heated at all times, and pulling down once instead of multiple times should help you as well. At the end of the hour, when you are done and you've made your golf tees, make sure you put everything away where it needs to be. The mold can just sit right underneath the injection molder. Make sure you turn this off and let it cool. It takes quite a while to cool, so don't touch it. Make sure you put the little scoop in its proper place. The plastic beads, make sure you cover and put them back in the location where you found them. The putty knife, you need to put that back in the proper place as well. When you're done, clean up any loose plastic. If there's any beads on the table, just make sure you pick them up, but put everything away in its proper place.